Hello, my friend, Pastor Curt here, and as always, I got a question for you. When was the last time you shouted at God? Or have you even ever shouted at God? There's a lot of shouting at God in the Bible, by the way. The Psalms are full of it. I remember one time I was on a hike in high school, and this hippie hiker guy in our church was leading the hike. I mean, he had the full beard, the bandana, looked like Cheech and Chong. This guy was really cool. And we get to this vista, and man, it is gorgeous. And just off guard, shocking us all, this hippie Christian dude just shouts, "I praise you, God." Well, all of us awkward adolescents look at him like he's a weird cult member. And he looked at us and said, "Hey, if you can look at this beautiful creation and not praise God with all of your being, there's something wrong with you, not with me." He was totally right. Just out of the beauty, the goodness, the grace that God has given us in this creation, he cried out to God. Every once in a while, there's just a moment in our life where we've got to forget about our embarrassment, forget about our volume level, and praise God with everything we have. Psalm 34 is a great example of this. David, he's on the run from Saul. He's on the run for his life. And in the middle of this, he writes this epic psalm where he praises God, and he does so with no shame at all. Psalm 34, verses 1, 2, 3, and 4. "I will extol," in other words, humble myself, bow down, "the Lord at all times. His praise will always be on my lips. I will glory in the Lord. Let the afflicted hear and rejoice. Glorify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together." Why is David bowing down and bragging and glorifying and exalting? Verse 4, "I sought the Lord and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears." David is saying that God is accessible, available, near, and good. David's saying, you're not going to keep me from praising God. In fact, not only am I going to praise God with abandon, I'm going to invite all of us to praise God with abandon, because it is a miracle. It is a work of love. It is a grace that God is available to me. My friend, do you realize how much God is available to you? Are you really seeking God the way David is and praising him the way he deserves to be praised? I had this conflict with a fellow leader many years ago. He was the head of my board. Loved this guy, but we were butting heads over one particular issue. It got worse and worse and worse. Finally, my wife looked at me and she said, "Have you asked God to change his heart?" Why would I do that? I've been using my own arguments and statistics and data and research. Why would I go to my knees and call out to God for help? Well, I got convicted. And that night I prayed, "God, change my heart and change his too." We got in a big board meeting the next day. He started the meeting by saying, "Last night in prayer, God convicted me, and I want to start this meeting by apologizing to Curt." And I said, "I was convicted too." We came out of that meeting unified. Why? Because we looked to God for our help. My friends, let's cry out to God. Let's praise God together. Let's look to God, and let's realize how accessible God is, how he truly does hear the prayers of the faithful.